any of these, just let me know if you've seen any of them before, and I can find something else. And for the language, you can change to whatever you prefer.
Well, I choose Python too, but I think I've seen this. I've seen this
problem before.
Yeah.
Okay. You can just go over like the overview of like the solution, and then we can skip the coding portion.
Last time I think I computed like a hash. And the hash was like sorting the string, or something that can identify like a word to an anagram, like a unique so something that tells me this corresponds to this anagram, whether it be like something like letter A, then frequency, letter B, frequency 3, and letter C, 0 of them, or either
Right.
I did something like this, or I sorted the string. It was enough. It was like a regular alphabet. Yeah.
Right, and then you just use that to map to the I guess the different values. Yeah, that sounds about right about there. So instead, I will give this problem.
Let me see, 1, 4, and 5. Okay, if they so there's an interval, a start and an end, and if they're like there's a non-empty intersection, including like when it's like only one point, it's considered overlapping.
Yeah, so if you had like a 1 to 3 and then 3 to 6, I think that also merges into 1 and 6.
Oh, got it. I think I did this too. I did it. I can maybe I can. It could be like a practice. I can try to like in the previous problem, like say out loud and then maybe code it as well this time, or.
Yeah, I guess if you think that it's unfamiliar enough, then maybe we can go for that.
So I would let's see.
I guess before coding out the whole thing, let's just go through what the solution approach might be.
Oh, of course, I'd sort them first by the beginning. Maybe let me see if it's whoever starts first, and then I'll go over them one by one. Sometimes they don't overlap like this, and it might be some cases where it's like one like this, and then the next one starts later but ends earlier and stuff like that. So have to be careful
Right.
about that. And I remember the collection or the type of structure I used as a help was a stack. I had like a.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm gonna write down my thoughts if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
I would like sort by start. I remember I specifically chose like the start, and then I had a stack like this. I put it in only if it's non-overlapping or empty. So if the stack is empty or no overlap, then stack happens interval.
Okay.
Otherwise, if there's a non-empty, let's see. Okay, this is on line 23. So it's sorted by start, like the next one starts at least later or at the same time. Then what I did was stack minus 1, I remember, 1, and I would take whoever ends ever ends last. I think so. It was a max. Sorry. Something like this.
Right. So one thing, I guess we could go with this because you said this is super familiar. You don't really end up needing a stack to solve this, or any real extra space. Let's try and go with that approach.
Oh, okay.
The core logic should be similar, but just to change it up from how you've previously solved this, let's try and go without using a stack.
Got it. So if I'm not actually the elements I sorry, I'm thinking. The way I use the stack is I took the last element, like the one that was on top.
Mm-hmm.
So if I keep track of it somehow, then we'll change the logic. Like, you know, at least I have initially I have the pointer to none, to null.
Okay.
And if stack is empty, becomes if it's none, or if I overlap with the previous one, then I'm sorry, I do have a question, please.
Sure.
If I'm not using a stack, do you want me to put the result somewhere, or to leave them in the initial structure?
Yeah, so this isn't an in-place modification, right? So you are gonna return a separate result. So this isn't an in-place merge.
Oh, got it. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna put them in this structure, like a list, in line 28.
Sure, sounds good.
Whenever I overlap with the current one, or if it's none at the beginning, I work with the current one. So current equals interval.
Okay.
And if there was a current, then I put the current one, like a copy of it, into the result collection.
Okay.
And once I have it, sorry, let me change this, and this. Sort by start, current equals none. If I haven't considered any of them, or if there's no overlap, then I go to this, put this in, and this is the new one. Put this on. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, I'm making sure I don't make any logic mistake first.
Right. So one thing I kind of noticed immediately is, you know, you have the statement on line 33, which I'm assuming is, you know, if current is none, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then immediately within that branch, you check if current. So those are, you know, mutually exclusive, right?
Oh, like if there was an overlap, then if there was a previous one, then I put the previous one in.
I think like this was supposed to be if current is none, right? I think that's what you were going for. Because I think that's what you said, right?
Yeah.
So you can't have line 33 and line 34 both happen, right? That's not possible. Oh, you're saying okay, or if it's the no overlap. Okay, got it. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Do you mind if I double check my code and then I run an example?
Yeah, sure. if you think that this is what you wanted to go for, we could, write out the no overlap function, and then this lets you execute code so you can actually run real test cases.
Thanks. So I have a current one that's like this, and the next one starts at least later. So if it starts after, if interval 0 is strictly larger than current the end, this means no overlap. In all other cases, if I think it's right. I think. Let me try this. If the interval starts after it ends, then there's no overlap. So I'm gonna go like this. Strictly after. Then if there was a current one, I put it in. Current equals interval. And at the end, I'll put the last one in if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
So, I built them one by one, and then I put them in the res. Sort them by start. Oh, yeah. So I don't know. I remember I worked on practice problems, and many times, or I don't know, a few times, same types of well, it was like a dynamic programming problems and stuff like that, and it was like there were intervals that were involved.
Okay.
So yeah, it reminds me of that. It reminds me of that. Do you mind if I run through an example?
Yeah. This you can execute code as many times as you want.
Thanks. So I'll take these. Let me see. I'll go like this. I'll call as in collection. And if I do finals, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to print this first. Sorry. The sorted version.
This, for the test case that you ran, that definitely came out correct, right? That's the example one.
Example one.
And it gave the 3 merged intervals.
Got it. Okay, so I have 1, 3, 2, 6, 8, 10, 15, 18. It's sorted already at the beginning, sorted, and I go one by one. I take the current one, and I go to the next one, on line 49. I'm sorry, I'm thinking through it. The next one, if it collides with it, I merge it with the previous one. The next one doesn't collide, so my past work, I put it into the collection, and I consider the current one.
Okay.
The next one, okay, it sounds okay. And let's try this one. It's like
right, and this pretty much also merges out correctly. Yeah, there are some other test cases we could probably run, but I want to say that this looks pretty good to me. Given the time, did you want to go through another question?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.